What the hell?
I legit have no clue how to introduce Pepsi-man. He isn't exactly what I would consider to be a normal hero. I guess he's a superhero, but really I see him more as a villain than a hero. I mean, spreading diabetes isn't exactly heroic, and hell, it's honestly quite villainous. I mean, who would dare create such a quote-unquote hero? Well, fucking Japan, of course. Appearing sometime in the 1990s, he started in around 12 commercials and of course gained prominence in his PS1 game that was exclusive to Japan, that was later picked up around playthroughs sometime in the 2010s. He's a superhero with extreme clumsiness, yet somehow, someway, he always knows when someone is in dire need of Pepsi. The man himself is essentially a prototype for the NSA, spying on a lot of extremely dehydrated folks who are waiting on their delicious Pepsi. Pepsi-man is well known in the gaming community. Pepsi-man has made several gaming appearances, first starting in 1994 for the fighting game Fighting Vipers. He is a special character who is unlockable, whose ability is to quench one's thirst. In 1999, Pepsi-man would make his magnus opus in the PS1 Japan exclusive Pepsi-man. The game puts you in the shoes of the so-called hero Pepsi-man as you race to the finish line to meet your end goal of delivering Pepsi. In what many may consider a post-apocalyptic world that is shattering to pieces around you, in a great twist later borrowed by the film American Psycho, you are essentially the main villain, as you are later known to be the cause of the chaos flooding the city streets. You truly are the Patrick Bateman of the Pepsi Void. Pepsi-man is weird. While a weird hellscape permeates the in-game world throughout the game, you'll encounter some strange cutscenes. The cutscenes themselves are hosted by a fat weird guy who for some odd reason has a fixation on Pepsi. I mean, the guy looks like he'll explode any minute, and frankly, that's just weird, even for Japan. The creepy fat guy was played by Mike Butters, who has had an interesting career. He's had a few roles here and there, but ironically enough has made several appearances in the Saw franchise. A bit strange that he started out in a predecessor to the August Underground films, and yet made himself back into the snuff film genre. You know what they say, star in Pepsi-man game and you'll earn yourself in the Saw movies. He's even reprised his role one final time in the AVGN video in which the AVGN reviews Pepsi-man.
How do these assholes keep getting in here? Wait a minute. Do I know you?
Pepsi for TV game.
Pepsi-man isn't exactly what I would consider a controversial figure like the previous video I did with Mac Tonight. He's sort of a character that kinda came and went. He was somewhat popular in the Japanese region, like obviously with the commercials, and yeah, finding a little more information on Pepsi-man is a little bit more difficult per se, because again, to the extent that we know about Pepsi-man, he started in a couple of games, a couple of commercials, and that's really about it. His real last appearance happened sometime in the 90s. Now it's practically about it. Unlike the previous video, there isn't a sort of scandal that kind of ruined the character. The most that I could think of is sometime in the 2010s, Pepsi-man became somewhat engrossed with the DeviantArt sort of, center circle, and that was really the most I personally would say was scandals with Pepsi-man. Despite that, though, I still think Pepsi-man is an interesting character because even though Pepsi has actually had quite a few mascots, which I do plan on covering sometime later down the line, I think out of that, Pepsi-man is one of those characters that, at least for me, it's so interesting to look at because it's so weird, and it was predominantly kept in one market or rather one region of the world. And obviously, as the internet kind of became more engrossed with learning about practically everything, Pepsi-man was discovered, and yeah, the fixation of the character has become somewhat of an interesting thing, the same way as Mac Tonight characters that have been forgotten to time and have been revitalized in this new day and age as sort of a pop culture icon. Hey everyone, Angel here from Dota Productions. I'm going to keep this post statement relatively short. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for getting the Mac Tonight video to 750 views. That is extremely huge for me, honestly, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. I also noticed that we have a couple of new subscribers, so for those who are new, welcome on board. Just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update on where this direction of the channel is going. And that's pretty clear. We're going to be covering these sort of forgotten, obscure icons, not necessarily food icons. I also want to venture into mascots from theme parks that have been forgotten, video game mascots, so on and so forth, stuff like that I really wanted to cover. Again, to make this brief and not to drag this out, I also wanted to cover other stuff, incidental stuff, sort of longer, hyper-analyzed videos for two particular mascots that I am going to cover sometime in the near future. But that being said, again, welcome aboard everybody to Dota Productions. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me on this new adventure, and hopefully 2023 turns out to be one great year because, damn it, we all need some stroke of luck around here. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.